Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, from the Ellers Mitchell household to yours, wishing you a safe and joyous Resident Evil Day. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including everything that came out of that Super Mario Maker 2 Direct. And then on Thursday, we're going to be ranking the games in the new Castlevania Anniversary Collection. But in the meantime, Mark, how are you?
Patrick, thank
Yes.
you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
That's very disarming. A sincere thank you.
What if I did the entire show? How tiresome do you think it'd be if I did the entire show where I was like pretending to be a guest?
Oh, and so that like anytime I asked you a question, you were like, "I'm so glad you brought this up." I have 3 answers to that question.
Exactly, like it was like Charlie Rose or something.
Yes,
Back before we knew that Charlie Rose was
a monster.
Was a monster.
Have you seen the clip of Ben Schwartz on Larry King? Where Larry King is interviewing him about being Sonic the Hedgehog, and Ben Schwartz is just being Ben Schwartz, which means he's weird and uninterviewable because he thinks everything is an improv scene. But Larry King is asking him like, "Can you tell us what the voice is like?" And Ben Schwartz is like, "No, I can't tell you. I can't do the voice. What do you think the voice would sound like?" And Larry like tries it for a second, and then is like, "Hedgehog is an interesting animal." And Ben Schwartz goes, "This is fascinating. I can't wait to see where this goes." It's so good. Look up this clip. It is wonderful.
What if also me being a guest on the show was how we like announced to people that we were divorcing?
Oh man, let's take that idea just off the table right now. I don't want people that we just made a joke about the Ellers Mitchell household.
I know.
And then you're moving into divorce talk.
Listeners
Mark.
are like our children.
Yes, and look, I don't want custody. Do you want custody?
It seems like so much work.
Speaking of I don't want custody, if you would like to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces for Switch, you can.
Please.
All you have to do is send us an email with your mailing address or a different mailing address, and I will send my copy of Sonic Forces there. It's that easy. Just email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. What else are we doing? We're giving away some Detective Pikachu cards.
That's right.
We saw Detective Pikachu. I had a really hard time saying that character's name just now. We saw Detective Pikachu. They gave us Pokemon playing cards. I opened my pack.
Mine are completely unopened.
Mark's are completely unopened. But look, you can get both of these packs. So you're guaranteed at least 2 Detective Pikachus, and mine had a Jigglypuff.
That's great.
How do you enter to win these, Mark?
All you have to do is recommend our show to somebody you know on Twitter, tag us in it, and you'll be entered into a drawing to receive these Detective Pikachu cards.
That's right. And just be like, "Hey, I thought you would enjoy the show." And if there's a specific reason that someone would enjoy the show,
even better.
All the better. And if you have other specific reasons that people would enjoy the show, give us a review.
Yeah, we're trying to get to 100 reviews in Apple Podcasts. We're at like 76 right now. So thank you to everybody who's renewed. But I am sad to say in the past week, as far as I know, we have received no new reviews in the American podcast store.
If only you could see the effect this is having on Mark.
Have you ever seen An American Tail?
Fievel Goes West or the original?
The original.
Yes.
Without the scary spider sheriff. Or cowboy. He's just a cowboy. The big cat is a sheriff. The important thing is that there's a scene.
Right?
I'd believe it.
Okay.
There's a scene in the first movie, probably a lot of them actually, where Fievel is really sad and looking out a window.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to paint this picture for
and
you.
it's different from but similar to every scene where isn't there a scene where Fievel is sick? Why can't I shake this like where like his face is green and he's like gonna throw up?
Oh,
probably on the boat, right?
Probably on the boat.
Mark also looks like that. So these are all of these negative effects that you're having on Mark.
Exactly. Imagine me being like on a ship, I guess looking out a port window.
Yeah, probably. All right, so before we get into the rest of regular business for the show, back when we did our 250-ish episode spectacular, we said we were going to read all of your emails, but Kinko's screwed us a little bit and didn't actually print out all the emails I said for it to print.
We're still angry about it. I know you thought that last week we got it all out of our system.
We did not.
They're still on our list.
So the Kinko's boycott is still in effect, which means that you should not go to a FedEx Kinko's unless you need something copied or it's more convenient to have something copied or printed there.
Or you're getting a package delivered and it's just easier to get it dropped off.
Right, of course.
Otherwise, don't go.
Do not go. Maybe if a friend is like, this is the only place that like we could meet someone because I'm selling them something on Craigslist.
Yeah, or you like need a candy bar or something.
Yeah,
and
then like
right
it's okay.
there.
But like otherwise, do not go to Kinko's.
You wouldn't dare.
But to make up for it, we are reading and answering the rest of the questions. Today's email comes from Richard Wilson. He says, "Hey guys, I have a few questions for your 250-ish show. Ask all or one or none. It's up to you." Mark, there are 10 questions here. So
we're choosing the all option.
We are choosing the all option, and we may move on from them quickly depending on what the question is. Question number 1: which game defines each Nintendo console or handheld generation? The answer is either Mario or Zelda, I think, for every single one. Let's do them real fast, okay?
Okay.
So the NES. What defines the NES?
Mario.
Yeah, I'm going to say Super Mario Brothers 3.
Mm-hmm.
Game Boy.
Tetris.
I'm going to say Pokemon. Super Nintendo.
A Link to the Past.
Super Metroid for me. Game Boy Advance. This is a harder one, isn't it?
I'm gonna say the Max Payne port that I never beat.
Okay, very good. I'm going to say Donkey Kong King of Swing, which I think is the name of that game. It might not be. Where were we?
GameCube.
No, we skipped Nintendo.
Nintendo 64.
Mario 64.
Ocarina of Time.
Both good answers. Now GameCube.
Sunshine. Super Mario Sunshine.
And I will say Wind Waker. So we're just going. We're just trading Mario Zelda titles.
Look, we knew that's what it was going to come down to.
All right, that's as far as we're going to go in this. Virtual Boy, go.
The
answer is Teleroboxer. There you go. Question number 2. What are your guys' favorite biscuits? I'm from the UK, so a biscuit is like a cookie.
Oh, just give me a good old-fashioned chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip cookie is great. Also an Oreo.
Oh, yeah, please.
Please give me an Oreo. I would love to see a challenge on the Great British Bake Off where the technical challenge is just make one perfect Oreo.
I would love that.
Question number 3. Would you guys consider doing games podcast covering all of the systems, i.e. Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, mobile, etc.?
I just don't have the time.
Yeah, and for as much as I like video games, I feel like I am a Nintendo fan first. So yeah, I feel like it would be.
Yeah, as much as I like video games in general, I don't really feel passionately about like gaming in general like I do about Nintendo.
Yeah, also just like the culture of like the capital G gamer gets grosser every year. And I don't necessarily think that's the same for like Nintendo fan. Maybe it is and I'm blind to it. But I just
we just get like dirtier for Waluigi.
Yeah. Oh man, we love Waluigi so much. Question number 4. You're stuck on a desert island. You get one console and one game. What do you take?
I take Wii and Super Mario Galaxy 2.
The answer is Tetris 99. Thinking of coming to the States for a holiday. LA, New York, or San Francisco?
Do you like theme parks? Come to LA. Do you like
tall buildings? Go to New York. Do you like densely
kind of
populated
like both
areas?
of those things? Go to San Francisco.
And if you like wine, go to San Francisco. If Nintendo were a sandwich, what would it be?
Peanut butter and jelly?
It's a Reuben.
Sorry. Was the answer? Did he also write the answer?
No, I'm telling you.
Oh,
mine.
of course.
You're in charge of Nintendo for the next year. What do you do?
SNES games on the Switch.
Yep.
That's really all I want.
I will profit is what I will do. I'm in charge of Nintendo for a year. What are your guys' day jobs? I'm currently not working.
And I work for a large corporation.
Very good. Apart from gaming, what are you guys into? We sleep as much as we can.
Oh, please. Yeah.
And question number 10, will there be another 250 shows?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So stay tuned right here. Cheers, Richard. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week.
have of course been playing the Castlevania Anniversary Collection.
That's
which,
right.
Not the anniversary of Castlevania, the 50th anniversary of Konami.
Oh, now that's
what it's
interesting.
commemorating.
So yes, we've been playing that in anticipation of ranking these 8 games. No real like spoiler here, but I think we're both enjoying playing all of these games.
Yeah, I love Castlevania, and this for $20, it really reminded me. Not because it was $20, but it was.
But it's a good
It's so
deal.
worth
Right,
it. It's
right,
such a good
yes.
deal because I really love these games, even though I own a lot of them in a lot of different like platforms.
Yeah, it's nice to have them unified like this with the same like set of options and stuff. But we will be talking more about all of these games and kind of the overall product on Thursday.
Also, Tetris 99, the third Maximus Cup.
Yes. So if you participated in the Maximus Cup and got at least 100 points throughout the course of the weekend, you now have access to the Game Boy theme. Mark, how'd you do?
I did. I did it even.
Yeah.
Took me about a little over an hour. So figure each game of Tetris 99 lasted me maybe about 4 minutes and figure out how many points I got each round. But yeah, it was fun. I love that game, and it was totally worth it for the Game Boy theme, which kind of threw me a little bit because I was so used to Tetris 99 being one thing specifically. And like the sound effects and everything changed.
Yeah, and the game was in that theme for the entirety of the Tetris Maximus Cup. I was surprised at how much it made me happy to see that theme on the screen. I actually don't know if I got a chance to play it. I think just Sarah did it. We were traveling this weekend, and on Friday morning, we had to go. Our plane was at like 11:30 or something. So we did have a little time around the house in the morning. And like the first thing Sarah said to me when we woke up was like, "Is Tetris going on right now?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, she like jumped out of bed.
It's like Christmas morning.
Yeah, it was. And she played a couple matches, got to 72 points, and then the next one she won the whole thing and got us up to 172 points. And I think that's where we stopped. And because then the rest of the weekend we were traveling. So, but man. Love that Tetris 99. I also went in to check out the NES online games that were updated from last week, which means I was playing Donkey Kong Jr., which is a game that I love and continue to love. The things that are inconvenient about Donkey Kong Jr. or like weirdly inconsistent remain a pain in the butt. Like he doesn't always seem to have the same arc to his jump, especially when he's bouncing off that spring at the beginning of the second level. Which I don't know why that is. That's all. I find myself a little frustrated by it. And then I was playing a little bit of the Star Soldier SP version, which is just like an overhead shoot 'em up kind of game. And so I played a little bit of the SP and was like, okay, so I can get to this boss and beat it. What's the actual game like? And it's like all these like top down like shoot 'em up games where I'm just like I don't understand really what the value of these old games are now. Like back in the day, this thing would have eaten my quarters forever, and now I just don't even know what the point of that is.
Yeah, I think we're all ready for the SNES games to be available on the Switch.
Well, I mean, if you were in charge of Nintendo for 1 year, that's exactly what
they'd go bankrupt, but you'd get your SNES games.
Yeah. All right, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
It's here finally after months of anticipation. Today, May 22nd, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 are available on Switch.
Wow. It's finally happening. And these games are all too expensive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely buying Resident Evil 4, no question.
Yeah, I'm interested in picking up all 3 of these, but I don't know what I'm actually going to end up doing and when I'm going to end up doing it. It's a little bit like the Final Fantasy thing where like I picked up 9 because it was the first of them to drop, and then have just sort of like I haven't, I guess, picked up any of the rest of them since. Even though like I'm interested in 12, I'm interested in playing 7 again, but like. It'll happen. It'll happen at some point for all those games, and it'll happen for all of these at some point.
Yeah, I mean, like Resident Evil 4 is one of my forever games.
Yeah.
I think I even owned the mobile version back when that was a thing. Like, I just love Resident Evil 4. So is this probably like the 5th or 6th time I am buying this game?
Yeah.
Yes. Is this even the best version of Resident Evil 4? No. Is it the best version of Resident Evil 4 HD? No, probably not.
What do you think is the best version of Resident Evil 4? Probably the PlayStation one or the Wii one.
I don't know. I love the Wii one. I
Yeah.
love like using like the pointer controls. I'm a little disappointed to hear that the Switch version doesn't have any motion controls. I wasn't expecting it to have the like Wiimote pointers, but even just sort of like gyro aiming
tilt
or something
assisted
like that.
aiming, yeah.
But it's not stopping me from throwing down money for it. So
Nope.
What are you gonna do?
Not actually disappointing at all, it turns out.
Also coming out today, Team Sonic Racing and the Assassin's Creed 3 remastered for Switch.
A big weird Tuesday.
It is a big weird Tuesday.
Because I am not interested in Assassin's Creed 3 remastered. Great. An Assassin's Creed game, which is already a series that I'm like, I don't really care. And then an entry in the series that is kind of notoriously derided for being like boring and pointless. I'll skip that. But Team Sonic Racing, that's interesting. I really liked the Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing
featuring
Transformed.
Danica Patrick.
Featuring Danica Patrick,
Mhm.
which is the one detail that we can ever remember about it.
The name is a struggle. Danica Patrick.
No,
We
we're
remember.
right there for it. So that could be a great game. So
And it's getting okay reviews.
is it? I haven't
Yeah,
seen any pop
It's getting
yet.
fine reviews.
Great.
And then on Thursday, May 23rd, Wonder Boy Returns Remix is coming out, and I know I'm not saying this correct, but Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz, which I was like, oh, this seems interesting. Let me Google what it is. It's apparently related to, or maybe just a mainline entry in the Jake Hunter series,
Interesting.
which is like a detective game series that I have enjoyed in the past. So maybe I'll be picking this up. Probably not this week because I'm buying Resident Evil 4 this week. But sure, I'll buy this weird. The Awakening of Golden Jazz. I love Golden Jazz.
You won't stop talking about Golden Jazz. Isn't Daedalus Icarus's father? Didn't he like create the Minotaur in the maze?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
All right. So it's a literary reference.
Over my head, clearly. I was like, why does this sound familiar?
So I thought that was the case, but I did also look it up while you were talking. Because I didn't want to assert something and then be like, oh no, I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to talk just a little bit about the Wonder Boy Returns remix. We've been seeing a couple like Wonder Boy games make their way over to Switch. And these are like sort of they're big Japanese games that like started back in like the NES days. That are like related to the Adventure Island games.
Is Monster Boy also like?
I don't know. There's a lot going on here. And if this means that we can get some like revamped, remixed Adventure Island games on Switch, then I'm all for it. But in the meantime, this is a brand of nostalgia that is not working on me.
Nice try though.
Nice try, Nostalgia Gods. I don't think it's the Nostalgia Gods actually trying to do this. All right, Mark, those are the new releases. Let's close out this segment. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, today, or like this week, is the 20th anniversary of the Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So you have proposed the following topic.
That's right. We're going to just say positive things about the prequels.
Wow. Okay. Great.
And that means not even like, I think we shouldn't even couch our positive things in like...
Sure. In like, look,
qualifications.
we all know it's bad, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Okay. I saw Phantom Menace in the theater 7 times.
I saw Phantom Menace in the theaters, I think it was like 5.5.
5.5? You left in the middle of one?
Yeah.
Well, you have me at a disadvantage. You have a list of things that you like about.
That's right, because I rewatched the prequels over the weekend.
Right.
And so I came in prepared. I was inspired for this topic. So here's one. Coruscant. Yep. I think Coruscant is cool. The idea of like a planet that's an enormous city And the art direction at night, Coruscant looks really cool in Attack of the Clones when they're like
Coruscant at night. You have to see it.
Camino, where the clones
The
are made.
cloners. Yeah.
I think it's like a water planet.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really stormy, and longtime listeners of the show know that I love the atmosphere of rain.
Yeah.
Um,
It's good. It is good and moody.
the clone aliens themselves, like the Kaminoans, are cool,
Mhm.
and the whole mystery of like Sifo Dyas is neat. And I won't say anything more because we're not going to say anything negative.
Right. I do think it is also interesting just the way Attack of the Clones like borrows that the sort of like noir structure and some of like the superficial like trappings of noir, including
Dex?
Yeah, Dex.
The diner, like
Dex's
the 50s diner thing.
And again, we won't say anything more about it because we're not saying anything negative.
John Williams' score
Oh yeah,
in
man.
all three movies is amazing. Too good for the series, really.
Don't couch the compliments. Like, I actually think that the score for Revenge of the Sith is maybe the strongest of his scores for the Star Wars movies.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it really smartly incorporates the themes from all 5 previous movies. If you look at like his scores for Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, they are a lot more focused on the like. Sorry, the audience here is nervous, as will happen in the recording of 433. But the newer scores are a lot more referential to just their own themes and the themes of the original trilogy, and it's cool to see like how much he had built up over the course of the prequels.
Yeah, absolutely. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is
Okay.
so good in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Okay.
Just the expanded aesthetic of Star Wars. I feel like the new trilogy so much is focused on being like, everybody likes the original trilogy, let's just do that again. But a lot of what I consider to be Star Wars now was established in the prequel trilogy, and it was cool to see like the visual language of the series expand so much. The sound design is great.
Can I do one?
Oh, yeah, please.
Amidala's funeral dress.
Mm-hmm.
Funeral dress is basically perfect. She looks great in that casket.
Yeah, which really, we all want somebody to say that about us.
Look, that's all I want. If you are ever thinking about paying me a compliment, save it until I am dead and that I look good in that casket.
I want to talk about the sound design for a second.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like in the pod race sequence, like all the sounds of the ships
Yeah.
are really fun. But do you remember in Attack of the Clones when, well, I guess we'll never know. I'm just going to say seismic charges.
Oh yeah. Well, let's call an armistice here on it and actually finish talking through that, because I like this point that there are in many Star Wars movies there are sequences where the music drops out and it is just all driven by sound effects. And in Attack of the Clones, when Jango Fett is like chasing, is it Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
He's like setting off these like seismic charges that are like, they sound like half like explosion, half like a guitar riff.
Yeah, and I think that's actually how the sound is made, is it's just like, because the sound drops out for a second and then the seismic charge explodes, and it is just like a guitar, like, twang. Yeah, it's really awesome.
All right, cool. Well, that's we were accompanied today by Stephen Feldman and Patrick Morin, and let's get into the news.
Hey, there was a Super Mario Maker 2 Direct last Wednesday.
You bet there was. Did you watch this thing like as it streamed live? Or
No,
did you
I caught it afterwards.
I was dropping my bike off at a bicycle repair place, and I was walking home, and I was like, "Oh no, it's 3:00. This thing is playing," and so I watched it on my phone as I walked home, which is maybe not the safest way to do anything. But so they started. It was a weirdly paced kind of direct, right? Because it seemed like there was a good couple minutes right at the top where it's just like, here's what Super Mario Maker as a concept is.
Yeah.
And it hadn't really occurred to me that there would be people who like needed to be sold on the idea of like, you can make your own Mario levels.
Well, and the whole thing was just like 15 minutes long. And as we saw like last year's at their E3 Direct, where they talked about Smash Brothers for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But they really packed a ton into this 15 minutes Super Mario Maker 2 Direct.
Yeah. So, Mark, you very graciously pulled up all of Nintendo's sort of like marketing points for this, and you were like, what of these do you want to talk about? Or like, I'll let you drive what you want to talk about. Joke's on you. I want to talk about everything that's on here.
It's cool. It looks like a really cool game.
It looks like a fully featured Super Mario Maker game that is giving us more than, first of all, giving us basically everything that the community has been asking for since the first Mario Maker came out, and then some. Right?
Yeah, I went from feeling kind of indifferent about the game. Like, obviously, I was excited, but content creation is not what I enjoy out of games.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But after this Direct, I'm totally sold.
Right. So just in terms of like maker tools, some of the things that they decide to show off early in the Direct, slopes. You can now have slopes, and we had seen slopes in like the initial reveal, so that's very exciting. The Angry Sun from Super Mario Brothers 3 that will chase you around the map. We only saw it in the Mario 3 theme. No, maybe we also saw it in the Super Mario World theme. But that's cool and exciting, too, that we will see the Angry Sun in multiple themes. On and off switches, there's like red and blue blocks, so you can like turn on and off other blocks. Turns out they can also affect conveyor belts. And conveyor belts can also be diagonal. They can also be slopes. Water levels that are like in a non-water level. So like the water can raise and lower, and it can be like only a partially water level. Bonsai bills that are like the giant bullet bills that fire from off like an off screen like source. And then of course co-op making, so you can design levels with another person sitting next to you on the couch, which seems chaotic at best.
But a fun idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so they going into like modes or sort of more general broad strokes here. There's a story mode to this game.
Which I'm really excited about. They promised over 100 original Nintendo crafted courses. So basically, it's just a new Mario game. I think the original Super Mario Maker had like levels that were made by Nintendo, but they weren't in the form of a story mode.
Yes. So both the original Super Mario Maker and the one for 3DS had some Nintendo-made levels, and both had like 100 Mario challenges and like these things where just sort of organized levels, both made by Nintendo and community made, into a very linear kind of like map to challenge you with like 100 lives and how far can you get in it, or 10 lives or whatever. But this seems like they are actually building it around the sort of like familiar structure of a Mario game. You're building up Peach's castle as you go, and you do it by collecting coins in these levels, which also show you the various features of Super Mario Maker, which means that not only will everyone have the option to basically just play this like it's a new Mario game, but it means that everyone who's just like messing around with the tools will also have access to those like world-class, Nintendo designed levels, which only means we're going to be seeing better levels from people.
They also showed off some new course themes. So you can make your courses in the theme of a desert, snow, forest, and sky. And they're giving us new music from Koji Kondo,
which is amazing. And some of it seems like it's just a little bit like remixed or like different arrangements. Like the sky theme sounds like a sort of play on the athletic theme, at least in the Mario 1 theme. So it all seems super cool. In addition, the opposite of the angry sun is like an angry moon. And either using the angry moon or eventually at some point the game just like gives you the option to turn on like the night modes of all of these themes. So in every game mode, in Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Brothers, there are now these 4 additional themes, and you can do a night mode of all of them.
Is there more than 4? Because is Ghost House new?
No, Ghost House was in the original.
Oh, okay.
So like Ghost House, Airship, Underground, just regular ground.
Gotcha. So it includes all of those plus these 4 additional ones.
That's right. And now the night versions of all of them. And instead of like just changing things aesthetically, the night versions of these levels add like they either like mess up the physics or whatever. The night version of the underground is like upside down, so like gravity is at the bottom. The night version of the sky is like low gravity, so you're jumping around like you're a moon level from Super Mario Land 2. There are other things. The desert one, it's like there's high speed windstorms. So it seems like there are so many just like extra little things that they are throwing into this game that no one knew to be super excited about, but now we all are.
In addition to like the original Mario Brothers and New Super Mario Brothers aesthetic and all of that stuff, they're also introducing the Super Mario 3D World aesthetic, which is kind of its own thing.
Yes.
You can't like transform a level from a regular like one of those themes into Super Mario 3D World.
Right. And that's partially because the like the mechanics of that game are so like the other four are pretty much the same. Like Super Mario World is the only one where Mario can throw something straight up, or like you can do wall jumps in New Super Mario. But other than that, like those games are all pretty much the same in terms of how they play. But Super Mario 3D World really has a lot of other stuff like interacting with the background or like the cat Mario. And so they're just like, nope. If you're making a level in this theme, it's got to be like from scratch.
So you of course get the cat Mario.
Got to have that cat Mario.
You get clear pipes.
Mario.
Are you from Boston?
Oh yeah, get that cat Mario.
Koopa Troopa car, which you just like hop in this car and you can just go, baby. You can just go.
Car just goes, baby, go.
Track block. The track block like follows any path the player draws. There's a piranha creeper.
Mm-hmm.
And then
there's a bunch of like Super Mario 3D World characters, including Cat Bowser, and like Boom Boom is going to be in all of them, but Pom Pom, who is like the lady version of Boom Boom, is in there as well. Something interesting to point out here is that the Super Mario 3D World theme is in the additional themes section of the menu here, and there's obviously space for a second additional theme.
Please, Super Mario Galaxy, especially with like the night gravity stuff in some of the levels. It'd be so nice. I'm making prayer hands right now. You can't see it.
Mark is making prayer hands. I will make prayer hands for Super Mario Land 2.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Give me a black and white Game Boy theme.
Prayer hands for that.
Prayer hands all around.
Okay, so at this point, you're like, this has to be all this game can possibly offer.
What else could it give me?
Well, what if I told you it could give you Course World, an online hub where players can share and play courses?
Right. So this was in the original as well, where you can upload courses and share them.
But before, didn't you have to do it from like a website? Could you do it from within the game?
Yeah, you could do it from within the game.
Oh, using what was it called?
Miiverse?
Miiverse, yeah.
I mean, you could just go in and like discover stuff. The discoverability wasn't great. It looks like they are giving a lot of new tools so that you can search. So first of all, courses can be tagged with like metadata. So you can be like, this is an auto-scrolling level. This is one that is a tough platformer. This is one that is meant for multiple players. And so you'll be able to search by all those things, which is great because for as cool as Mario Maker is, it did have a real problem of you would just play a bunch of like auto scroll levels where like you don't move Mario and he's just like moved around on all these like platforms, and it plays a little song and it's spectacular, but nothing, you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you win and you're like, okay, well, great, what was the point of that? And now there will just be a little toggle for like levels that play themselves. Nope, I don't want those.
And in part of that, there's a new mode called Endless Challenge, where you can basically turn on the tags that you want, and it'll give you just like as many of those courses as it can before you die.
Which is incredible. Also, and this was not available on the original version, you can now play levels by downloading them. And just playing them offline on your Switch. So if you're going to travel with it and you want to like load it up with 100 levels from the internet, you can do that and then take those 100 levels with you.
Here's something that I'm really excited about: multiplayer in Course World.
Yes. Multiplayer in Course World comes in a couple different flavors, both a competitive and a cooperative. And you're playing user-generated levels with up to 4 players. And, like I say, sometimes it's a race to the finish line. Sometimes it's you have to work together so that you both finish.
It's of your choosing, though, if
yes.
you're doing like co-op or multiplayer versus. It's 2 different modes.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's also nearby play. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No. To tell about the nearby play.
Oh, yeah. So basically, if you have 4 switches in a room and they all have Super Mario Maker, is that how that works?
Yeah, everyone needs the game.
You can make a virtual room so all 4 of you can play together, which seems to indicate to me that like online play is going to be strictly randos.
Yeah, that is what that sounds like to me, which is a little bit of a bummer. It would be nice to, but I guess that is at this point a little bit of an unanswered question. Is how you will be able to do multiplayer. First of all, online, can you do it with friends? Can you invite people? And then in the room, is there any way to do it on a single console? Because right now it looks like that is not the case. Even though the new Super Mario Brothers series is all about like get as many people as you can on screen at once, it is not totally clear if this game is set up because all those levels are optimized for there being 4 people in it, and when you have someone way on the right of a level and someone way on the left, the camera like zooms all the way out, and I don't know if in the original Mario theme if the game is like prepared to do that for you. So I don't know, I've seen a couple of videos like breaking down the footage from the most recent direct, being like it looks as though there are 2 characters on screen and the camera is not auto scrolling, that is actually like detecting where the 2 characters are, but it is Nintendo did not state outright that there is local multiplayer in the actual play mode, though there obviously is in the make mode. And when you're making, you can just like push a button and start playing. So that raises the question of what happens then. And maybe it's just the person who pressed the button to start playing. But that would be a cherry on the top. It would be very fun to play local co-op. But if it's not there, that's I guess fine.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I just in general, I'm really looking forward to Super Mario Maker 2 now.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I was very excited about it before. Mario Maker is never a game that is too far from my head. And not that long ago, I picked my Wii U back up again so I could build some levels and just play some stuff. And it's just satisfying and good. It's just a good platform, and I'm excited for it to be on a system that everyone is actually playing. And that I'm just very excited for whatever new stuff is there.
I don't know if you noticed this during the presentation. I noticed it, and then I saw online that a lot of people were talking about it. Like when they're showing off the Koopa Troopa car, there's like a Super Famicom logo that just kind of like starts small and then like flies out of the screen. What was that about?
2 theories. One, it's just one of the new special effects in the game, right? That like. Because they do go on about like sound effects. That, like when you jump on an enemy, you can like tag it with the sound effect, so it'll make the sound of like a doorbell when you jump on them. And there are a lot of new weird ones that make various things happen. So maybe there's a Super Famicom one, and that's what we saw. It's actually part of the game, right? That could be. Second theory, maybe they're hinting at what the second additional theme is. I don't know what that would be though.
Yoshi's Island?
Could it be Yoshi's Island?
That'd be cool.
Or could it be the Super Famicom / Super Nintendo versions of Super Mario All-Stars, because those graphic styles are not represented in
this? That's a really good point. But yeah, I just thought it was so weird, and it goes like completely uncommented on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a big, weird, loud thing. But and then
I didn't think about the sound effect thing. I think
it might just be a sound effect. Yeah,
yeah.
Because there's a lot of other big, weird stuff happening.
And it was like specifically Super Famicom, not like Super Nintendo. Even though we were watching the North American Direct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo also revealed that in addition to the previously announced Splatoon 2 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World Championships that are taking place as part of E3 on June 8th. They will be featuring a Super Mario Maker 2 Invitational that same day.
That's super exciting. That means that there'll just be a bunch of levels that I guess Nintendo is creating. Like I hope they're throwing out their best, hardest Kaizo block filled levels. Yeah, I'm hoping we can stream that and like watch it and really see some cool stuff there.
Nintendo also started offering vouchers to Nintendo Switch Online members. I got this email out of the blue because I thought it was out of the blue because I hadn't seen the direct yet where they talked about it.
Yeah.
But pricing varies worldwide. In the US, you buy vouchers in pairs of 2 for $99.99 and can redeem them for Nintendo published titles for $20 in savings, basically.
Yeah, so I saw this with because I saw the direct as I was walking home. And so like this is one of the two like different ways that they're trying to sell Super Mario Maker 2, right? Is that in this 2 games for $100, or you can buy Super Mario Maker 2 with a year of Nintendo Switch Online for $70. So it's like half the price of,
which is like $10 off because a year of Nintendo Switch Online is usually $20.
Right. And again, Nintendo Switch Online stacks. So if you already have a year and you get a second one for, whatever promotional reason.
Right, like Twitch Prime or something.
Exactly. Which again, you can do if you have not used your Twitch Prime. You can do it to get a year of free Nintendo Switch Online. So yeah, this is a little bit confusing, right? Because you can use this on first-party Nintendo games.
And it's not just like first party; it's like Nintendo published. Because right now, like The World Ends with You is included on the list, even though it's only $40, I think. So don't use it on that because then you're not getting any value out of these vouchers.
No, it's like the opposite of getting value. Vouchers can be purchased through the end of July this year and expire 1 year after purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So are these usable on games that haven't come out yet besides Super Mario Maker 2?
Yes. So right now, it kind of seems like all Nintendo first-party titles are going to be eligible going forward. The ones we know that haven't come out yet that will be eligible are the ones that have definitive release dates. So Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, you can use it for that. You can use it for Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and you can use it for Astral Chain.
And of course for Super Mario Maker 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how many of these can one human buy at one time?
You can have 4. You can have 8 vouchers at a time, so 4 pairs.
Okay, all right.
So it seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
especially because they're good for a year, and we know, assuming that other first-party titles will be part of this promotion. We know that Zelda's coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Luigi's Mansion 3 seems like it's coming out.
Animal Crossing, Pokemon.
So even if you're not excited about Super Mario Maker 2 or Astral Chain or something, there are titles coming up where this just seems like a good deal. And for Nintendo, I think this is just a good way to incentivize eShop sales.
Yeah.
Because even if they're giving it at a discount, I assume they're probably making at least the same amount as they would from a retail sale.
Yeah, I hadn't thought to consider that like really incentivizing people to buy online versus going into the physical store. That's got to be just good for Nintendo's bottom line because they're the only person in that equation.
Right, there's no middleman at all.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see this. I think it's cool to see these promotions for Nintendo Switch Online members, and I'm definitely going to be picking at least one pair of these up.
Yeah, I mean, if it applies to other future, because in the Mario Maker Direct, it was kind of like flipping through Nintendo Switch games, and I was like, I have that game.
Yeah, if it was just Mario Maker and then like the Nintendo published games that have already been released, I don't think I would do it because I don't need one to Switch.
Right. And like, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is on that list, and I didn't buy that when it came out on Switch because I've got it on Wii U. But like, this isn't a gimme. It's not like you're getting it for free. But $10 off is not nothing. So
speaking of Astral Chain, did you see they released some like key art for the game, basically in like the coming soon section?
Okay.
And it's woof.
Oh,
it's just like classic anime like woman butt shot where the dude's like facing forward just being like, hey, I'm a dude, and the girl is like with her.
It's like, I'm a dude too, but here's my butt.
It's like my butt's facing the camera, but then I'm turning over my shoulder so you can
Oh, sure.
see my face.
It's the classic comics pose
Mhm.
of where you can see the face, you can see the breasts, you can see the butt.
Exactly. Which is, come on, guys.
What do we want from Platinum Games?
I don't want anything.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Is like this is what they do. This is the kind of thing
Yeah.
that they deal in.
That's fair. Clearly not for me.
Yep. Likewise.
In happier Japanese game-related news, Square Enix has released a patch for Final Fantasy VII that fixes the world map music glitch.
Hey.
Yeah, that's really nice because it's a glitch that had existed forever, and we had all kind of written it off, just being like, "Yep, Square Enix gonna Square Enix. That's never gonna be fixed." But they did. They fixed it for Final Fantasy VII. They haven't fixed it for Final Fantasy IX or any of the other games that glitch afflicts. But
Yeah, and 9 is the one that I am currently playing when I am playing it, which is to say that I stopped playing a month ago. And I can't say that because this is the glitch that causes the world music track to reset every time you get into a fight.
right, yeah, every time you're like coming back from a fight, so basically you just get the same 30-second loop over
Right.
and over.
Which is a shame because it's actually a like several minute long
It's an amazing track, yeah.
suite of music. And I can't say that was like actively hampering my enjoyment of the game, but maybe it was. Maybe I'll go back to it if they ever patch it, and discover that it is a much better time than I thought it was.
Luigi's Mansion 3 has received an age rating in South Korea, which is notable because it indicates the game is probably close to finished, if not
sure,
finished.
if they have something to rate.
So maybe something we'll learn more about at E3 because we know it's coming this year.
Now, Mark, I don't understand the South Korean ratings board rating system, but what did it get? Do we know?
No, I don't know. I think they do it by like
Adults only.
age. I presumably it's going to be banned in the U.S.
Too spooky.
To celebrate the upcoming release of Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth on 3DS in the West, a free 3DS theme has been released in the 3DS theme shop.
Yeah, I saw this. It looks cute. It's got all of the, Persona Q2 characters, which means characters from, I think, 5, Persona 5, 4, and maybe even 3 as well. And they're all like a little bit chibi versions of them. And like it just scrolls forever. Like it is connected to like as you're scrolling through your library.
Oh, cool.
So the background in the top screen like also scrolls with it, and it just keeps on going and looks very cute and very nice and a fun way. Gotta get people back to their 3DSs somehow, right?
Please.
Yeah, please.
I really loved Katana Zero when it was released maybe about a month ago at this point.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot, and I'm looking forward to more content for the game. A new update is coming by the end of the month, so just in a few weeks, that includes a new hard mode with new enemies, remixed levels and bosses, speedrun mode where you can skip cutscenes, and there's like what they call stable enemy behavior. So I guess if you're in speedrun mode, because as you're like retrying levels and things like that, the enemies do move in different ways. I guess that would affect speedrunning, where you need a consistent route. So maybe in speedrunning route, they just always have the enemies like move in a certain way, in a certain like pattern.
All right, Katana Zero speedrunners, I'm putting you on blast because there are a lot of games that include random elements that people speedrun.
No, they're big babies for sure.
Listen, Katana Zero speedrunners, you're right up there with FedEx Kinkos that we are calling for a boycott.
Angry.
Unless, of course, it is more convenient for you to watch speedruns of Katana Zero than like some other game because you haven't played another game.
Right,
maybe you're
or
not
if
interested
you
in
are
it.
a Katana Zero speedrunner, but you have other things you have to do.
Right, of course.
And then the game will also be releasing for the Switch in Australia and New Zealand, which presumably it wasn't before.
Is this enough to get you to go back to it?
I don't think this is, because a hard mode like doesn't really do anything for me, and I am too old and my hands too like hurty all the time to be a speedrunner. But I am excited because there is supposed to be, or my understanding is that there's DLC coming for the game. And I had mentioned when in our review discussion of it that I was kind of disappointed by the end, and it seems like instead of teasing me for a sequel, they were teasing me for
the
DLC.
DLC.
And so No, I'm always excited. It's like I feel like Katana Zero is the messenger.
Right, and I'm still waiting for that Messenger DLC, for that Fun in the Sun or whatever it's called. The Beach Blanket Bingo.
Yeah.
The Messenger. I wish I could remember what it's called, but I cannot, and no, we will never know.
Party at Blizzard Beach.
Probably it's Party at Blizzard Beach.
You know, the water park at Walt Disney World.
That's right.
Finally, there was a Splatoon 2 Splatfest last weekend pitting time travel versus teleportation. Teleportation swept it 3-0. Time travel, it seems like they should have been able to resolve this by going back in time.
Well, here's the thing.
And
This is just showing that Splatoon 2 players have rejected the Speed Force and all of the implications of trying to befriend Wally West.
But don't forget, we are friends with Barry Allen.
Of course. I mean, how could you not? All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo
So much
Cartridge
fun, Patrick.
Society.
Thank you so much for having me here.
It makes me uncomfortable every time. I'm going to declare an immediate moratorium on thanking me for anything. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts if you like the episode. Please share it somewhere. And remember, if you share it on Twitter and tag us, you might win some Pokemon cards or whatever.
Yeah, they've been warmed by my car's glove box, so consider that.
Is this an enticing thing or is it a punishment now? You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. There's also a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying Watto is pretty cool, too. I like Watto. I like the way he talks, the way he flies. I like his feet. Thanks for listening.
Campfire.